Okay, so just got done doing some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and waiting for a few clients to turn up, so I just want to quickly talk about something that is a little bit of a problem, and that is that a lot of people like to blame increased fat loss and increased obesity on one single thing. So like the mainstream media do a really bad job at this. So talking about how sugar's the problem, and then like a year later fat's the problem, and then eating too much protein causes problems, and blah blah blah. And they like to pinpoint one thing at a time. Now, at the moment, sugar is getting the rep. It's getting a really bad press. It's made out to be this kind of like devil food that you should never eat. And the reality is that simply isn't true, and sugar itself isn't the sole reason for increased obesity. So when we actually look at it, like since like the 1970s, so over the last kind of like 30 to 40, 45, 50 years, people are consuming on average around about 500 calories a day more and are moving significantly less because we have more sedentary jobs. So we've got more office workers and we're stuck behind a desk on computers and things all the time, so we're not moving as much, we're not getting as many steps in, we're just not as active, and then on top of that we're consuming more food. Now that's not entirely one thing's fault. That's not sugar's fault, that's not carbs' fault, that's not fat's fault. It's a combination of things. So it's a combination of just the lifestyle and increased food consumption and lack of activity that is causing the issue. So, like sugar itself only has, say, 4 calories per gram. And in large doses, if you're eating, say, a couple of hundred grams of sugar a day, 150 grams of sugar a day, then that's probably going to lead to a few health problems down the line. But if you're having the 30, 40, 50 odd grams of sugar a day, like from various sources or whatever sources, is that really going to be a big issue? Probably not. And same with fats. Like unless you're over consuming your calories, you're not going to gain weight. Like if you're over consuming food, you're going to put on weight. No, like no matter how much activity you do, if you're over consuming the amount of calories you need, you're going to gain weight. And so it's not a case of it's all sugar's fault, it's all fat's fault. It's a combination of things, and in order to get the results you're after, you have to look at the big picture and look at creating a sustainable model for that big picture, as opposed to just pinpointing one thing and saying it's all this fault, I'm just never going to eat that again, because that's not a realistic approach to take, and it's not going to help you in the long run, like psychologically, emotionally, or physically. So you need to think about that first and kind of encompass that mindset of saying, okay, it's not one thing's fault, but if I start to change like a few things in general, like getting more active, getting up from my desk more, eating more wholesome foods, and making sure my calories are lower than I need, whilst at the same time still allowing myself to enjoy the occasional bit of junk food and a little bit of sugar, you're going to be in a good place, you're going to get results, your health and fitness is going to improve, you're going to start to feel better about yourself, and you're still psychologically going to get to enjoy the food you like. So rather than blaming one thing, think of it as all one big picture and like a jigsaw, and you've got to kind of fit the pieces in, as opposed to just saying it's all this is fault and being done with it, because that's not useful for anyone.